Now, I'm sure you've all seen this video that's been floating around in social media. Now, the reason why I put this video up, because this video is particularly sensitive and close to my heart. You know why? Because this could have easily well have been my mom. This could have easily well have been my mom. And what I mean by that is, my mom is a nurse. If you watch my video, I think I did a video about a year ago, where there was that lone one-man protest on top of the bus terminal in Crossroads. In that video, I actually mentioned that, my mom was a nurse. She's not only a nurse, she's a midwife as well. So, this could have easily well been my mom coming home from work, after doing an 8 or 12-hour shift, whatever. And in a fit of road rage from this hooligan, she's ending up in a situation where she's fighting for her life, literally. Because I can imagine how scared she was and panicked she was to see this man with a firearm waving it about and holding it over her head, whilst he's judo flipping her, while you just saw there, he flipped her over, and her ankle must have hit that concrete so hard. I'm amazed her ankles weren't broken or even sprained. We have to realize that nurses are trained to save lives. They're trained to heal, the sick and the wounded. That's what their purpose in life for. That's what they get paid to do. And here is this man, his name is Robert Bell, 65-year-old rusty greyback gorilla, man, is there tripping over himself and falling over himself. Now, in this video, I can show it to you because you can't see much physical, even though they're tussling and they're wrestling, you don't see much here. But there's another video after this I'm going to show you where there is audio, because this one has none. But in that video, I'm going to censor out certain bits because you have to realize this is YouTube. So that's that situation. But for what I'm looking at here, you can see there's a couple of other men standing around, and it's not like they don't want to do anything. The other audio video, you're going to hear them pleading with the man. But the reason why they don't want to do anything is because they realize this man has a firearm in his hand, a loaded weapon. And if they get too close, he'll be their next attention. And they don't want that. So that's what this is. So let's just jump into that video now. Now, before we play this video, you have to realize that this is the video I was telling you that's got some bits in it that I have to censor out because of YouTube. But listen to the audio and hear the way these men are pleading with this asshole to de-escalate and contain himself. He's crying out in pain. Now, I'm going to mute it while I have some commentary here. As I say, I had to censor certain bits out. Now, look at this rusty back man and what he's doing to this nurse. I'm lost for words. This video that I'm looking at? This is worse than the Diddy video. You remember that Diddy video where he abused Cassie in the hallway of the hotel? I thought that's the worst abuse I would see. Well, it's not the worst I've seen. I've seen worse, to be honest, live. When I was much younger, that traumatized me for a while. I've never actually spoken about this publicly or even to my closest friends or family. So you guys hearing that is the first I've actually said this, that I've witnessed a policeman when I was in Jamaica when I was young abusing a woman in a similar fashion as this. The difference between this and that one is he wasn't waving a gun about, but the woman was in the middle of the road as well, and she was almost naked. She only had on her knickers and her bra. She was or just have her underwears on, and he was abusing her physically in the streets. kicking her, punching her, everything. And then when he finished, he jumped in his car and drove off. He almost ran over the woman in the process. And that stuck with me for a while. So yeah, it's the first time mentioning that. So yeah, but this topped that in that regard, because he's waving a firearm around. He's putting the public at risk, motorists and pedestrians alike. Even the woman that's the person, I'm saying a woman, but I'm assuming the person that was videoing this, they risked their life as well, because we don't know if the safety was on for this firearm. And if a round went off, they could have easily picked up a stray round. Even the guys that is standing around pleading with him to de-escalate, they could easily have picked up a round as well. Now, you could argue that, the safety was on, so what? His shirt is off, which means when he was tussling with this woman and she was fighting for her life, in the process, his shirt came off. So the same way his shirt came off in the process because they're grabbing and tugging and pulling, it's the same way they were grabbing and tugging at the firearm, and it could have easily released the safety switch and a round goes off, or a couple of rounds goes off. The other thing we need to know is if that firearm is illegal, does it have a switch on it? Because you know some of these pistols, they're not supposed to have a switch on them. I wonder if that one have a switch on it. What a thing. Who confiscate that firearm to find out if it have a switch on it? Because that would make it even worse. Possessing an illegal firearm, because FLA wouldn't have given you a license for a firearm like that that's got a switch on it, and I wouldn't put it past them people ever have a switch on it. It's not just gangsters and terrorists in the hood that put switch on them firearm. Uptown people do the same thing too. Let's not get this twisted. You understand me? The difference is there's one set of law for them and one set of law for everybody else. Now he feels entitled here. These men doesn't want to tackle him to the ground and restrain him because they realize he's got a firearm and them don't want to pick up no round and feel like because him have the weapon and feel like him have the power of the firearm in his hand. So because he has that power, he can ignore everybody around him, completely, disregarding, public safety and other people. He doesn't even his own safety. You understand me? Because as I said, if a couple of rounds went off by accident, him CM1, if he got hit, would have to go to the CM hospital and the CM nurses then would have to treat him wounds. This is crazy. You understand me? So what needs to happen is one, he needs to go to prison. They should lock him up and take him off of the street now. Put him in jail now until his trial. No bail, no letting out on good behavior. That's what needs to happen to him. They need to then, when him trial come up, they need to give him at least 30 years. 30 years minimum you're supposed to get in a prison. Without bail, without parole, without nothing. You understand me? No let out on good behavior early for good behavior. No commuting and no sentence. Nothing like that. You understand me? The next thing is confiscate his firearm and never reissue him and allow him to have another firearm again. And revoke him license where he'll never be able to legally own another firearm ever again. That's the situation. Two, I mentioned several things, but it's in two categories really. The second thing is, three categories. The second thing is, this woman needs to criminally charge him for all this stuff, for all the charges, for all the assault that he's done to her. Yeah? And she also needs to have a civil lawsuit against him as well. So she can get a payout. If Cassie get 30 million payout from Diddy for what he did to her in the hallway, this to me is worse than that. Because this happened in public, he's waving a firearm, a loaded firearm, and he's abusing her in public, and there's evidence to prove it. So, yeah, him in danger of public safety too, not just the woman that he's battering and assaulting physically. So she's gonna be traumatized by this. So she needs to have a civil lawsuit against him, make him liquidize him house, him businesses, him assets, him cars, him whatever him have, sell all of your stocks and shares and your everything what you have, and pay this woman. You understand me? Because she has to go to therapy now. She has to go to counseling. I witnessed something like this when I was younger, I told you, and it kind of traumatized me for a while, and I didn't say anything to anyone. I was that traumatized when I witnessed it. So imagine something like this. You understand me? That she had to go through physically. You understand me? She's going to be traumatized for a very long time, if not for the rest of her life. And he's there, and I pause it here, but he's there standing over her body like he's some carcass where he's just... like when they go hunting and you stand over the carcass, as in a victorious posture. And this is a man, as I said, that's got connections in the political sphere, because we've seen the photos of the people you take picture with. You understand me? And we're not going to make it political, but it just goes to show you some people just feel entitled. We're just gonna jump into the other video with the demonstration that's taking place, because I don't really want to spend too much time on a lot of this stuff. Now you see this policeman that you see there in the middle of the frame. When he's not in the middle, it's more to the right. You can see there's what looks to be a policeman on a high visible gear on a bike. And people might be wondering, why is the policeman there? Surely people are with the women, people are with the nurses, nobody's going to trouble him. But here's the irony. That nurse was a victim of road rage. Now you see all these people marching in solidarity and in support of that woman. That victim was assaulted by Robert Bell. Imagine a situation where they're marching. I'm telling you, there's a lot more Robert Bells in these vehicles. Not the majority, but there's a lot of Robert Bells driving on the road, which even though these people are marching, the irony will be them will be honking their hands and shouting at these people and tell them, come out of the road, you know, come out of the road and I block up the road. People have somewhere to go, we have things to do. Oh no, block up the road and I cause traffic. Do you understand me? Completely oblivious and clueless to what these people are marching about. So imagine you're marching about road rage, and whilst you're marching about road rage, there'll be people honking their hands and shouting at you and driving down on you in road rage. Forget you out of the road. So that's why the policeman is there. You can't make this stuff up, bro. You understand me? So make it go on anyway, because So while they're marching, I'm just gonna bring up some of the slides, because I got some slides of some of the stuff. So where are these slides? Let me just bring them up. So here they are. Enough is enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring up more about what the Observer has tweeted. So you might be thinking, where do I get this information about this Robert Bell? Well, I'm getting it from the Observer. It says nurses and healthcare workers at various locations in the corporate area are currently staging a protest demanding safer protection for the nation's women. The demonstration comes in the wake of a shocking May 12 incident in which 65-year-old St. Andrew businessman Robert Bell was captured on video striking a nurse during a road rage confrontation. Ah, boy. Bell, who resides in St. Andrew, now faces multiple charges: assault occasioning bodily harm, assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, intent to cause grievous bodily harm. I mean, from what I saw in that video, there was grievous bodily harm being dished out. I don't know what video other people are watching. Common law assault, and 2 counts of firearm possessions with intent to injure. Now, common law assault is where you waving a firearm about in a threatening manner within close proximity of the person that you're threatening with the firearm. Okay, like if you're in conflict with somebody, whether it's a knife, a sword, a firearm, so on and so forth, that's what they mean by common law assault. Okay, now it also mentioned here possession with intent to injure. Now, in my opinion, they should add risk to public irresponsibility, and God knows how many other charges they can bring up, because he's actually put the public at risk by pulling out his firearm and waving it about. And if the gun was discharged, anybody who were innocently bystanders or passing by could easily have picked up an injury. So that's all I want to say about this in this regard. So let me just bring this back down and just end with the marches taking place. Oh boy. One more thing I want to say before I go any further is I hope this doesn't cause a division between men and women. Not all men are like Robert Bell. I mean, some women are suffering in silence. A lot of people from the upper echelons of society, let's be honest, a lot of them are being physically abused. When you see them wear the thick makeup and the thick glasses, they're hiding black and blues and bruises that they've been getting from the day before, the night before, from their spouse. So it is what it is. But we know there are certain NGO and other groups out there which are just waiting for an opportunity like this to sow a division between men and women. And those men like Robert Bell are in a minority. They're not in the majority at all. So women can't do without men, and men cannot do without women. We need each other for a strong society, a civil society, and for a unified society. And the minute men and women starting to hate each other and starting to sort of have this division of enmity between them, then that's going to be a complete breakdown of society. So let's not just give in to the temptation and those who would like to use this opportunity to gas up and put a battery in the back of women to start hating their husbands, hating their boyfriends, hating their fathers, hating their cousins, and hating their friends and men in general. This is not what this is, but at the same time we have to highlight and acknowledge that what Robert Bell did was grossly disgusting and despicable, and he deserves at least 30 years in prison. He needs to face the full might of the law, and also I think they should strip him of all them assets, sell them off, and pay off this nurse, because if Cassie got 30 million reportedly from Diddy for what was done to her, and this is worse, then she at least definitely deserve at least 90 or 100 million, and we're talking US dollars now. I mean, people might shave their eyebrow and say, oh, that's too much. Well, was it too much the way he did a batter bruise the woman in the middle of the street in front of everybody and I threatened her with him firearm? You know what I mean? And threatening public too, because that was irresponsible what he did. So you can negotiate down, but I would start at an extremely high figure and negotiate it down to maybe 80 million or something USD, because she'll be set for life. As far as I'm concerned, he needs to pay for what he's done. This is crazy.